So it took my online business 8 years to hit $1.1 million in total revenue. Now, I'll be completely honest with you. That might sound amazing, and it is. I'm totally grateful for our growth. However, I think what I know now, we could have done that in way less time, or we could have made a lot more money in those 8 years. And it's mainly because of these 10 mistakes that I'm about to go over with you here. These 10 mistakes, as first time business owners, we didn't know. We didn't know what we didn't know, and we were inexperienced. And sometimes we were too close to it. We're a family business, so sometimes we're too close to it ourselves to kind of see the mistakes that we're making. So I've created a list here of the top 10 mistakes that we made on our way to $1 million in revenue. Now, $1 million in revenue, that might sound like a lot to you, or might sound like a little bit, because there are people on the internet who are making a lot more money, or they claim to be making a lot more money. But that was a major milestone for us. So when we kind of put everything together, it was incredible. We've made over 420,000 in digital products, and we made the rest, the 600 plus, in physical merch, like physical products, books, planners, shirts, hoodies, hats, and stuff like that. So it's 60-40 split. That's where you get that figure from. So in this video, I'm going to talk about the top 10 mistakes, and at the end, I have a bonus one that I really think you should stick around for, because it ties everything up in a nice, neat bow. So let's get into it. All right, first, as I said, we run an online business, and I run it with my family. So the first mistake that we made, it was a lack of clear roles, responsibilities, lack of direction, lack of identifying strengths and weaknesses within us. If you are running a business and you don't know where you're going, you don't know who needs to do what, especially if you're working as a team. If you don't know who is doing what, you're not gonna get you're not gonna get very far. And if you're working by yourself, if you don't have an actual destination, if you don't see what you're shooting at, if you see what you're trying to hit, again, you're not gonna go very far. We thought we were in business because we were just taking money for a product. We were selling my dad's book, and we just kind of felt like, okay, we're making money from his book online. We're in business, but we didn't know what kind of real business model we were going to run. We didn't know how we were going to find more customers. We didn't know. We just didn't know a lot. We were just running. And as I said, when you are a first-time business owner, that seems like the right thing to do, to just make some money. And it is, right? At a certain extent. But if you want a real sustaining business, if you want to make more money than just a few $100s here and there, up and down, based on a sale or something like that, if you don't want to have to rely on it, if you want a real business, then you need to have some real direction. We had none. We just took some money and said, okay, we're in business now. We had a logo, we had a website, and we thought it was official. But if you don't identify those things, then you're going to be running in place and wondering why you're running in place. So that's one of the reasons. All right. Number two, we ignored the importance of a marketing strategy. Now, I blame myself for this, because I'll be honest with you. My dad, he was the one who told me to start taking some digital marketing lessons and stuff like that. And I did. He actually paid for one when I got out of college. And I think mainly because I didn't have anything to apply it to. As I said before, we were just starting. So when I'm learning things about top of funnel, middle of funnel, what the hell is a funnel? Like, I didn't know anything. And once I finished the course or whatever, I had a better understanding. But because we were like really just starting, I had nothing to really apply it to. That's like reading a bunch of sales books, but not conducting any sales presentation or sales call. You have nothing to really apply it to. You're just reading stuff, like for the sake of reading it. And that's what I felt like we were doing. And without a real marketing strategy, as I mentioned in the first mistake, you're not going to know who your customer is. You're not going to know where you're going to find your customer from. And a lot of people make this mistake because they create a business, right? They have a product. They announce it on Facebook. They announce it on Instagram. And then they think, okay, my friends and family know about this. The world knows about it now. Like, I'm out here. People should come to my website. People should, buy my product. And then once that doesn't happen, or they only get a few sales from family and friends, and they don't know how to get strangers to actually buy your stuff, because that's what's going to keep you in business. People you don't know. It's a really big world out there of somebody who might want your product or service. And if you don't understand how to find them, how to reach them, how to talk to them, and then how to get them to your world, meaning your website or your store, you're not going to have a great business. So we ignored that for far too long. The importance of a true marketing strategy. Right? Hey, what's up? If you like what you're watching and you want more information just like this, then you should consider joining the Urban X membership, where we have hours of online business courses available to you. And we also have my ultimate online business guide. It's about 40 pages of some actionable things you can take to get your online business started today. The Urban X membership is only $10 a month or $100 for the entire year. Cancel anytime. I think it is well worth it if you want more information just like this. All right, so let's get back to it. Now, number 3, this is big, and I think a lot of people make this mistake, especially if, say you get past 1 and 2, right? You identify what kind of business you want to run, who you want to serve, things like that. You create a great marketing plan and you start making some money. 3 is not setting up a proper financial tracking or proper financial foundation. We did not do this. We completely skipped this. As I said, we were just running. We were just making money, and some money went to paying people. Some money went back to inventory. Barely any money went back into marketing and stuff like that. So we didn't have a true financial foundation to where if we needed money for inventory, if something went wrong, if inventory got lost somewhere, and things like that. Like if anything went wrong, if somebody has a financial emergency that they need, or something has come up, we were left completely assed out, essentially, right? And that's because we didn't have a good financial foundation. We didn't learn about business credit, past, what is taught on the internet. We didn't really understand how useful, good debt can be when it comes to running a business. We were so scared of being in debt that everything that came in went right out, because we just wanted to operate all on cash, right? And sometimes if you're trying to run a really big business, that's not the way it works. A lot of these big companies that you see, they operated off debt and not just cash collected. You know what I'm saying? So we didn't understand that. And again, you don't know what you don't know. There are a lot of great books that you can read now on it and things like that, but we didn't know. One of the good books that that I was reading, Psychology of Money, great book. But yeah, we just didn't have a solid financial foundation. All right, so 4, and this might apply to some people, but I think it's important at any stage of business. We took too long to learn new skills. And that is very important, especially if you're a small business, because you might have to wear multiple hats. And if you're working together with somebody, everybody might have to divvy up a few different roles and responsibilities based on skills. And if you don't up your skill set, then you're going to stay in place. You're going to keep running in place. So for me, again, if marketing was my responsibility, because I don't know how it got placed on me, but marketing was my responsibility, and it took me way too long to learn Facebook ads. It took me way too long to learn about AI tools. It took me way too long to learn these things, right? And I think, one, because I was scared, I didn't understand them at first. So learning new things kind of, and you're not going to be good at it. And then with marketing, I didn't want to do something stupid and waste money. So I was just kind of nervous about that. My stepmom, she was our graphic designer and things like that. She didn't want to learn new softwares. She was used to Photoshop and stuff like that. But look, we need a new software so we can live stream our podcast, because we live stream my podcast and stuff. So, and my dad, like, he was just real stuck in his ways about a lot. So we took way too long to learn new skills. And I think if we would have learned a lot more new skills early on, if I'd have learned short form content early on, we would have been able to get on TikTok a lot earlier. And then we would have been able to get our merch on TikTok Shop a lot earlier than we did. And then we could have made more money that way, but we didn't. right? And to the detriment of our overall business, right? 5, this is important. We got away from what was working due to boredom. Now, I've always been of the belief that a good business is a boring one. Meaning, if your business isn't dealing with fires that it needs to put out, if it isn't dealing with customer issues, it isn't dealing with product issues, website issues, if it's just running and it's boring, let it be boring. Let it do what it needs to do. Let it work the way it's supposed to work. We would get bored and then try to add a new product in, or add something, a new responsibility in, or add a new aspect to our business in, and it would shake stuff up. It would be exciting to build, but then it would stretch us very thin. We would lose sight of actually what was working and things like that. So we got away from what was working a lot of the times because we was just simply bored, like literally. One time, because we were getting bored with our growth on YouTube, right? We were stuck at like 55,000 subscribers for a long time. And instead of, again, upping our skills, understanding what works, what doesn't, what we need to do to improve this, we said YouTube is out to get us. We're going to completely take our podcast private and go off YouTube and just stream from our own website and our own membership, because our membership was making a lot of money at the time. So we was like, yo, this is where we need to focus, right? This is where a lot of the money is coming from. This is what we need to focus. Ignoring a rule of marketing when it's where are the eyes coming from. So the membership was growing because of our YouTube channel, because we were getting free traffic from our YouTube channel. And that's why our membership was growing. We cut the YouTube channel off, or we just stopped putting up content there, expecting everybody to just follow us because we're so amazing, to our website, to our membership, and that didn't happen, and we lost a lot of money that way. And we didn't grow. We started to shrink as a result of that. So we got away from what was working due to boredom. Okay, 6, and I'm talking directly to a lot of the online entrepreneurs or aspiring entrepreneurs out there. We hobbied for way too long. We looked at our business as a hobby we treated it as such for way too long, where we were too lackadaisical at times. If this works, it works. If it doesn't, we're good, no problem. Where there needs to be a lot of urgency in what we're doing. There needs to be a lot more, passion behind what we're doing. And that came across in our work ethic, because we were working out of our home. So sometimes it's easy to just watch TV, take a nap, because, you're home, right? It's easy to just slack off. It's easy to just a project that's supposed to take maybe a few hours, we let it stretch for 3 days because we're on our own schedule. We're good. But again, if we were working urgently, if we were actually hustling, a lot more would have gotten done in a shorter time. We would have been able to make some of these mistakes earlier and then correct them and then build upon them in the future. But we didn't. We hobbied way too long, right? So don't hobby. If you actually want to make money from your business and you don't want it to cost you money, you have to treat it as an actual business. All right. 7, and this kind of plays off the back of the last one. We didn't hold ourselves accountable, and that goes into us hobbying a little too long. And when you're working as an online business, when you're working for yourself, it's easy to kind of let yourself off the hook because you don't have a boss you're answering to. If you don't have employees, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're the employee, so you don't have to hold yourself accountable, hold yourself to a higher standard. And that's because it's just you, or it's just you and your family. And if it's family, that's even tougher because, that's family. And I was working with my dad and my stepmom, so I naturally have a deference to them. I naturally just kind of step back, let them do what they need to do. But my dad, he had to pull me to the side. He goes, yo, when we're in business in these lines, I'm your business partner. So in these lines, you handle me as such, and I will do the same to you. So if you needed something from me and I didn't do it, hold me accountable, Malcolm, or tell me, Dad, I needed this. You didn't get it done. Like, we need to straighten up. And it took us way too long to do that because it's easy to, especially with family business, it's easy to kind of blend those lines, or blur those lines rather. And online business, if you're working for yourself, it's even easier because it's just you. But I will say this: the only person you cannot lie to is yourself, right? So you knew that you needed to do something, you didn't do it. You know what needs to get done for you, for this business to actually grow. And if it's not happening, you need to look yourself in the mirror. Okay, so hold yourself accountable. All right. 8. This was a good one. We rushed and never tested. So I always say the benefit to being a smaller business is that you're able to be swift and changeable a lot faster than a lot of these major companies. And that's because, it's just you. I've worked at a corporate job, and I remember we had a company meeting about some language on the website, right? And there was an entire 45-minute hour meeting about 3 words because it could mean this and somebody could think it means that. And I was just like, just change the website. But no, it had to go through 3 different departments to get approved. And then if this department didn't approve it, it had to get sent back down. You have to start all over. It was insane. However, if you have a website and the headline isn't converting as you need, you can change it right then and there, right? So that kind of forces entrepreneurs to think that it's easy, it's better to just move fast. And sometimes that's true. But at other times, you have to test. So I'll give you an example. So we sell merch. We sell, clothing. We sell shirts and hoodies and stuff like that on our website. Now, my dad, this was what he did. There was a certain design, a certain hoodie type that he thought would look cool. He thought would look really good. So he ordered one. Sorry. So he ordered one, and it was in my size. So when he told me he ordered it, I'm like, come on, man. We don't need to be doing stuff. He said, nah, I'm just telling you, just wear it. I wore it on our show, on our podcast. Mind you, we do our podcast live, so we can see comments as they come in. So I wore the hoodie. It's not on the website. I didn't say anything about the hoodie, but it was a play off a design we were already using. So people saw it and went nuts. Like, yo, Malcolm, where's that on the site? I don't see it on the site. That hoodie's crazy. Boom, boom. Hoodie's crazy. I looked at my pops and said, okay, we got one, right? Totally got one. We ordered more sizes. We ordered in some in different colors and completely almost sold out. I think we did. We made almost 80,000 in a month, right? Based off that one design alone. Okay. So now what happens is after you feel some kind of success, you get a little cocky. So what happened then is my dad, he came up with another design, and instead of testing it with our audience like we did prior, we just ordered a whole bunch of them. We just completely ordered a few different variations and a bunch of different sizes. And as a result of what happened was nobody wanted it. Nobody liked that design, or most people didn't like the design. We sold some, but we didn't sell as many as we did the previous design. And that's a result of not testing. We didn't test anything. We just went and bought it. And that cost us a lot of money that we still are dealing with today. We still are selling those other designs at such a discount because we just want to get rid of them. But lesson learned, test before you make a major purchase like that. Test before you create something with your audience that you're building. Okay. 9, we stayed in our comfort zone for far too long. And we all are guilty of this. You're probably guilty of it, but your comfort zone is your comfort zone for a reason. You're comfortable there, right? So for me, I wasn't the most outspoken one. I wasn't the most outgoing one. I was cool with just kind of playing my position next to my pops. And my pops, he's, getting older, so he's not going to be able to do things forever. He was like, I need you to kind of step it up a bit. I need you to kind of come out there a little bit more. I need you to kind of, be a little bit more bold with what you say on our podcast, with your takes and stuff like that. If we are shooting videos for ads, be a little bit more animated. Act like you want to sell what we have. So we stayed in our comfort zone for far too long. And it took me a while to kind of get that message, to kind of go, you know what, you're right. Like I have to just get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And that is okay. To grow in business, and you're gonna have to do things. You're gonna have to, take sales calls. You might think sales is icky, you know what I'm saying? And sometimes you have to just kind of get through that, and if you actually want to be successful. So you have to get out your comfort zone. Don't stay there too long, because it will trip you up. Okay. And 10, this one was huge for us. We resisted outside help for a long time, meaning we just kind of wanted to keep everything in-house. We wanted to keep everything within the family, within our online business, and we didn't reach out for a lot of just help. We didn't want to reach out for marketing, for sponsorships. We didn't want to do anything because we didn't want to owe anybody, and that's not a great mentality to have in business, because in business you grow as far as your relationships can take you. So an example of that is, we were having a sale again, and that big sale that I mentioned, when we made almost 80,000 a month, we paid another podcast that we have a relationship with. We paid another podcast to promote our stuff, to run ads and stuff like that. And before, we did not want to do any of that. And once we did, they got it in front of their audience. He got in front of their audience, and their audience was huge, almost 3 times the size of ours, and we were able to get more people, more eyeballs on our product, and then more people purchase as a result. So partnerships and help, they're useful. If you don't know a certain skill, and somebody else might know it, do you want to sink, or instead of just asking for help, instead of asking for advice, instead of paying some money to ask for the knowledge that they have that can actually solve your problem? A lot of people don't want to, right? They don't want to ask for help. So that will also hinder you from making a lot of money in your business if you don't ask for help. Okay. Now, I also have a bonus one that I wanted to throw out there to you. And I think this is important, right? So the bonus mistake that we made on our way to $1 million is we thought that $1 million was a lot of money. Now, why do I say that? Now, at the top of this, I said $1 million in revenue. I didn't say profit, right? So when you have the idea that money coming in is the money that you still have operations, you still have softwares that you have to pay for, you still have other tools, you still have marketing, you still have money that has to go back into the business. And if you're not just working by yourself, then if you're working with other people, then they have to get paid and stuff like that, taxes and things. So when it comes down, the $1 million that you have in your head, it is not the same thing when it comes to actually running and operating a sustainable business. So while it is a milestone, while we are very proud of it, in the 8 years, it didn't feel like it. It just didn't. It felt like, okay, we're running a business, it's successful, we're doing what we need to do, bills are being paid, but it didn't feel like the $1 million that the internet will have you to believe. Like, the Lamborghini, none of us drive a Lambo. We all drive regular cars. We all live in regular places. So that's one of the things that I kind of want to show you. And here's the thing too. If we'd have made the $1 million in a year, that could look different. It would look different. But over that 8 years of time, it wasn't the same. So that'd probably be my little caveat to that last point. But I think the point still remains the same, that even when you listen to a lot of huge, bigger entrepreneurs, and they talk about, a large sum of money in there, like, to us, to them, it's kind of like, it wasn't really that much to what the outside perception is. So if you like this video and you want more value and content like this, I really recommend you joining my newsletter, The Science of Excellence, in which I will be delivering once a week insights, strategies, tips on how to build your online business, books I'm reading, podcast episodes, YouTube videos from me directly to your inbox. Is completely free. Also, if you join, you'll be getting a free download of the Ultimate Online Business Guide. It's going to have so many different resources in it. 50 businesses that you can start, ranging from $0 to $1,000. A list of tools and resources and softwares that I use. Great books to read if you want to start your online business. entrepreneur self-assessment, the framework that my family business has used, that we apply to our business, that has helped us reach the $1.1 million in revenue. So it's into the description below, and I hope to see you on the other side. My name is Malcolm. Peace.